Hello, hello. Hello, and welcome to the Cloud English Podcast. My name is Luke, and it is Friday, March 10th, 2027. Wow. Doesn't the time fly? Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. It's great to have you. I hope you're ready to improve your English pronunciation, among other things. That is what we're going to be focusing on and practicing today. A lot of things planned. We're going to be generally covering how you build strong pronunciation habits. We're going to be talking about a clip from The Office and learning some interesting words and phrases from that. Should be interesting. Not so pronunciation related, but why does it have to be? We're going to be talking about specific vowel sounds. This is going to be an essential lesson for you to learn about how to pronounce vowels clearly. And we're going to be going over, let's just call it a pet peeve that I have. I like to gripe. I like to complain sometimes. I deserve it. Something that I see very often that I want to, I think it can actually be useful for those who know to not do something that causes a bit of, you'll know what I'm talking about when we get to that part, okay? Right off the top of the show. If you haven't already done so, I would sincerely appreciate if you would like to support the channel, support the podcast, support whatever you enjoy about it. Like button, subscribe. If you are listening, then similarly, you can give 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. You can also like on Spotify, and you can send it to your grandma. So do that. And also, if you want to join the free Discord, you can do that. Links in the description, free to join community. I share things I'm doing there, but also there are great conversations and discussions and sharing that happens there. It's a community which continues to grow and evolve over time. What else? So there's that. Oh, yes. Now, this is something that may or may not be tied to today's episode, but I have launched a new course. Very excited about this course. This course is about pronunciation. This course is designed to teach you the habits that you need to have clear, natural pronunciation. Now, what I'm not saying is that everyone needs to, let's say, develop a specific accent. You've never heard me say, I think people should talk like Americans. I've never said that, and I never will. I think having an accent is cool, actually. But when pronunciation gets in the way of comprehension, understanding, then it becomes an issue, right? So that's, I think, a thing that people often get kind of confused about. Should I improve my pronunciation so that I can sound like a British person or an American or what? No, I don't think so. I think it's more about, can you express yourself clearly and avoid misunderstandings? To do that, you shouldn't have to think about pronunciation when you're speaking. If you have to think about pronunciation when you're speaking, good luck. It's going to be an uphill battle for you. It's going to be a big challenge. It has to become muscle memory. You have to turn those things that you learn into habits. So I've designed a course to teach you that. I have, as I always do, so this is what I do when I launch a course. I launch a course, and then that course is on sale from the beginning. I do an immediate launch sale. If you use your imagination, I'm sure you can imagine why I decide to do that. Of course, I want to get as many people signing up as possible, letting me know what they think in the reviews. Of course. But it's still on sale, launch price. So this is the lowest price you will ever see it at. It cannot be lower. And so if you go to the first link in the description, you should see that. If you're watching this later or listening to it later, check it out anyway. There might be a site-wide sale going on, and I do periodic sales anyway. Just to show you what it looks like very quickly, it is like this. So here you can see that actually it's launched on Udemy, Master English Pronunciation Exercises for Perfect Habits. Now, it was just launched a couple days ago, but it's already got reviews coming in. Average reviews, 5.0. That's not too bad. That's actually the best. 9.5 hours of on-demand video. Lifetime access, certificate of completion, 25 downloads. And this is not the actual price. This is the Udemy course or site-wide sale they're doing. Actually, my discount is what might be half that, about half that. So actually even cheaper. Okay, so enough promotion, enough of that. Enough. No more. Stop it. See, we have some people joining. Douglas and Telecoat, Andre, Chev, is that right? Stephanie, good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated, of course. Now let's, I think, get into it. And again, as we go, I will be checking once in a while to see if we have any interesting questions. I've decided to only answer interesting questions that we may get. If you want to join live, and let's say you're watching this later, which is the case for most people, actually, oddly. Most people like to just watch it in their free time, which I get. More and more people are deciding to just listen and not watch, which I get. I mean, I wouldn't want to look at this for an hour and a half either. But if you want to watch live and ask questions, you can do that every Friday. Every Friday, okay? Oh, also, I launched a new format of videos on my channel, and I'm going to try to do this every week. We'll see how it goes. But getting into the news, sharing some news stories, but then sharing several key words with those news stories, words and phrases with those news stories. 6 words from the news. 6 words from the news. I'm actually thinking of calling it that. Right now it's English in the news, I think. I'm thinking of calling it 6 words in the news. I don't know. Oliver, hello, welcome. Great to have you. So let's talk a little bit about pronunciation. And just one second. I am done. You know what I'm doing? I'm sending a text message to my wife who's downstairs, and I can hear her. She's using some kind of machine, and I want to tell her, please don't do that upstairs. It'll be too loud. But then I will be the one to do it upstairs when we're done. So I will do it. Mr. Housework, they call me. Nehat, hello, greetings, and welcome. Good to have you here. Okay, so let's talk about pronunciation. Let's talk about it, shall we? Here's the truth. If you cannot hear the difference between what you say and what you'd like to sound like, you'll never get there. Because how could you? How could you, right? In order to make progress toward anything, you must be able to notice the difference between your current stage, step, place, position, and where you want to be. Or at least, maybe not even where you want to be. Something better than where you are now. And this is a classic issue with pronunciation, because often we think, oh, well, I can read some symbols and then I'll know how to say something. No. That's not how it works. It's not about reading symbols. It's about creating a deep connection between your ear and your mouth, and then figuring out how to hear the subtle differences between the sounds that you are producing and the sounds that you're trying to imitate. And that's if you just know that, you can improve your pronunciation. That's all you need to know. Now, it's easier said than done. I wouldn't have made a 9-hour course if it were just that easy, but that's the basic fact, right? Now, what are some things that get in the way, and why is this so difficult? I think it's difficult because we have to unlearn a lot of things first. Number one, we have to unlearn our existing pronunciation. So even if we do get that sound right, when we're talking about something, explaining something to somebody, it's hard to think about everything at the same time. And so, yeah, I learned how to say it, I learned the pronunciation, but it doesn't come out when I'm speaking because I'm thinking about what I want to say and grammar and all that stuff, right? So it has to become a habit. So not only do you have to hear it, be able to distinguish the difference, hone your listening, self-awareness, so that you can hear the difference between what you say and what you would like to sound like. You also need to then build that pronunciation you learn into habits, deep habits, right? Because you shouldn't have to think about pronunciation when you're speaking. So maybe you struggle with the word, for example, enthusiastically. I don't know if you say enthusiastically or enthusiastically or what. I don't know what it is, but if you struggle with that word, you may not, right? You need to first listen to the correct pronunciation, find the correct pronunciation, repeat the correct pronunciation, and then say your version of it right after you listen to it, and then match the two until you get it perfect, right? Enthusiastically, enthusiastically, enthusiastically. Repeat after me. Go ahead, right now. Say it out loud. Unless you're in a funeral or something. Why are you watching this in a funeral? What's wrong with you? But, okay, repeat after me. Really do it. Ready? Enthusiastically. 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 Now a little faster. Enthusiastically. Enthusiastically. So if you're noticing any progress at all in getting closer, maybe you've already got it. Great, good for you. You're one of the special ones. Great job. If you're getting closer, that's you noticing those differences. Okay, now once you've got it, and it takes many, many times, you have to do it over and over until you master it. Once you have got it, right? Now you need to practice it, right? And the key to doing that always is to emphasize sounds over words. It's not about the word you're saying. Nobody cares what the word actually is. It's about the individual sounds that you're making. So disconnect your mind from I'm saying enthusiastically and instead focus on what are the sounds that I am making. Then slow down, nice and slow, and really hone in on those sounds. Then what I would recommend you do once you feel like you've really got it, and be honest with yourself, once you've got it, put those words into short sentences. We enthusiastically danced across the street. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But can you put that into a complete sentence, right? And make it flow naturally within that sentence. We enthusiastically danced across the street. I can't even do it, see? We enthusiastically danced across the street. We enthusiastically danced across the street. Make several of those and see if you can fit it in naturally, right? But you should also, if you can, record yourself at some point so that you can listen back to it. Be objective. Wait a second. When I say enthusiastically, I'm actually saying enthusiastically. Oh, I'm saying cully. But actually, that's not the correct pronunciation. It's clee, not cully. You have to be really diligent, really precise, really hone in. And going slowly is the key to that, to identify where those little lapses are. Okay, that's not quite right. Listening to the recording is going to force you to be objective about that. It can be difficult to do in the moment. It takes a little more time and a little more training and practice to be able to hear it in the moment. For whatever reason, it can be tough to hear yourself when you're speaking. But it is possible. It is possible. But the first step would be to record it. Then you listen back as though it's somebody else speaking, and then you hear, oh, I am saying enthusiastically. And that's not what I want to say, right? So that's where the power of recording comes in. And again, do not give yourself a break. Don't say, good enough. It's good enough, right? Okay, well, maybe, but is it? Why go through all of this if it's just going to be good enough, right? You want to be really diligent and really not give yourself any breaks, okay? This is the first step. Start from here. Work on a few difficult words, things that you struggle to say. Again, focus on sounds over the word itself. Slow down, really hone in, be honest with yourself, be objective. Make sure you've got it right, and then build those little sentences that include those words to make them into habits, okay? Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, also let me know. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also, if you want to get really serious about this, check out my 9-hour course on this topic of creating very solid English pronunciation habits. It's all about practice. So check that course out in the links in the description. Okay. What's so morbid? Stephanie says that's so morbid. Nahad says, how's it going, pal? Daria says, hi. Douglas says, could anyone explain the IPA? IPA is just a system of notation. It is used for, it's basically a formatting system for different things, for text and also, I believe, for pronunciation. That is what it is, Douglas. That is what it is. That is what it is. Okay. So I think, and this is, by the way, this is stuff that is covered in the course. So I'm giving you kind of a sneak peek into some of the content of the course, right? If we're taking a look here of the sections. So you can, by the way, preview the first few lessons for free. You can see you can preview the short vowel sounds lesson, which is 16 minutes long. You can preview the first section of the course, which is sort of how to take the course. Then we get into the essential sounds. We can see vowel sounds before R, two vowels together. We can see consonant combinations. These are essential sounds that you need: a hard G and soft G, hard C and soft C, S and J. And then we have a full example. Then we get into the more nuanced, complicated sounds, the schwa sound. We get into diphthongs, voiced and unvoiced neighbors. We get into silent letters, vibrating sounds. We get into the different D and T sounds. Then we get into word practice. We talk about syllables and things that are difficult to say because of complexity. We talk about different origins, right? A lot of words in English come from different places around the world. How are those words said in English? And then we get into some pronunciation challenges where we talk about tongue twisters. We do some minimal pairs practice. If you don't know what that is, well, that's in there. Some shadowing method practice, a bunch of stuff. It's 8 hour. It's almost 9 hours, I believe. How long is this? Brand new course. Oh, 9 hours, 36 minutes. So it's almost 10 hours. Oh, okay. 61 lectures, 5 sections. I didn't even know. I should know exactly, right? Anyway, check it out. Check it out. And again, this is not, the price you see here is not the price you'll get if you use my link. It's a lower price, even lower, even lower. Okay. So what we're going to do is, actually, we're going to look at a clip from a TV show. So let's do that next. By the way, it's been great to see more people joining the Discord. But here's my tip. I mean, in the Discord, it's a community. I sense a lot of people are, well, some people I think are just not used to using Discord, which is fine. But I sense that a lot of people are very shy to communicate in public in something like a Discord community. And I would say to that, just go for it. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's worried about it. I make typos in there all the time. It's not a big deal. No need to be shy. Just go for it, and you will gain the rewards of doing so, right? That is currently my main place to be. So if you have questions, or you just want to talk with me, that's kind of where to do it. But I find a lot of people are quite shy, I think, and that's fine, but squeaky wheel gets the grease, as they say. Hear that song? I don't know if you can hear that song. Do you hear that? Dun, 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 dun. That is this Samsung makes really good appliances. I have a Samsung refrigerator. I have a Samsung dishwasher. I have a Samsung laundry machine, washer, dryer. I have my TV's Samsung. I have a lot of Samsung stuff in my house, and I like it. It's very good, very well made, very high quality. But the songs are too long. I don't know why they need to be that long. So when my dishwasher finishes washing the dishes, it plays a 40-second little diddly-diddly-dee song that's super annoying. And I mean, I don't even care when my dishwasher is done. It's not an urgent thing, right? And also, it sends you a notification on the app anyway, right? When the clothes are done washing or drying, it sends a notification to my phone that says your clothes are dry. Right, that's cool, right? So I don't need the song, but the song still plays. And that's my only gripe about Samsung stuff, is they have to play these really silly songs. Even my oven plays a song. My oven plays songs to me. Do you understand how strange that is? If you talk to someone 100 years ago, you go back in time and you meet someone from 1927 and they say, what's the future like? And you say, well, what would you say? What would you say? I would say, listen, I just launched a course. No, I would say you don't have to hand wash. You know what? They probably had washing machines in 1927. Your washing machine, which makes a lot of noise and catches fire every other week, in the future, they're way better. But they play songs when they're done. That would probably surprise them. I don't think they would predict that. Probably. I don't know. Maybe they would. Anyway, let's talk about what we're going to do. Is watch a short clip from a TV show, The Office, I'm sure you know, which is a good one, I think, for learning English. It's funny. It's good. So let's do that. I'm gonna go over to the thing. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me put on my this. Put on my this. There we go. That way I can hear. I need to be able to hear. Very important. All right. So we're going to take a look at a clip from The Office and learn a few interesting words and phrases. We need to pay attention to these in context. Once you get a feeling for how they're used, you should be able to use them yourself. So let's get right into it. And again, listen for things you're not familiar with and pay attention to where and how they're used.
Are you swallowing them whole? You're eating them so fast, are they even touching your tongue?
Yeah.
Why aren't you having any, Angela?
Oh, I ate so many already when no one was looking.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's start with that one. Yeah, right. When someone says, yeah, right, it means either they actually don't believe it, they don't believe what you just said, right? Or perhaps it means, I'm just going to center that on myself, perhaps it means what you said is not true, right? It's a way to negate something, to go against something, right? Somebody tells you that they're going to run a marathon tomorrow. You know that they're not in very good shape, and you say, yeah, right. To say, I don't believe you. Now, does he not believe Angela in this case? Right? Yeah, of course, she was joking. He might not be smart enough to know that she was kind of not being sincere, right? But what she just said goes against his beliefs, goes against what he knows to be true. And so he's saying, well, of course, that's not true. Yeah, right. It's a kind of sarcastic way of saying it, but it is really, really common. Let's go back just a few seconds and listen to that again.
Already, when no one's looking.
Yeah, right.
You see how he's reacting, right? It's kind of a strong reaction. He's laughing. It's got that sort of sarcastic feeling to it. Okay.
My baby's dieting. She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day.
Why do those exist?
Our big day? What the heck is a big day? What is a big day? Our big day. She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day. Well, you heard there, gown, wedding gown. Big day must be the wedding. So often a wedding is referred to as our big day. Sometimes we use big day for other things. Today's your big day. You're getting a promotion. Today's your big day. You are going to some hearing to maybe have some big decision made in your life, right? This is my big day. So sometimes it is used to talk about other things. But if there's no context, almost always it is used to talk about a wedding. And if you hear our in front of it, it's almost always going to be about a wedding, right? Again, it could be other very big, important things in your life. Someone could say, they're adopting a child, a couple is adopting a child, and they're going to go actually pick up the child from, I don't know, where do you get a child when you adopt a child? I don't know. An orphanage? I don't know how that works. I just realized I don't know how that works. Right? But you could say it's our big day. We're going to go pick up our, this sounds weird when I say it, pick up our child. Anyway, yeah, usually about weddings. Let's listen to that really quickly again.
She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day.
Why do those exist?
Why do those exist? That's a good question. Jim says, why do those exist? As though, why would anyone want to make a child-sized wedding gown? That is very, very bizarre. Okay.
It's from my pageant days. I was Miss Tiny Mid-Atlantic Bride when I was 10. Probably heard of it.
Brownies, is it?
Brownies, is it? Not a common expression. Dwight's kind of a weird character, right? But when you're sort of noticing what's going on, oh, brownies, is it? Maybe.
Pastry cubes made of sugar and fat? No, thank you. I'll stick with my jerky.
So why'd you come in here?
Stick with my jerky means I will, this is mine, this is the thing I'm not going to give up, right? I'll stick with my whatever is I'm going to continue doing what I'm currently doing, and I'm not going to change and do what everyone else is doing.
Socialize and inform.
Ooh, brownies! I'm taking 2 so I can parcel them up and eat them at my leisure later on.
Okay, parcel them up. To parcel something up is to put it into different pieces or sometimes different containers, right? Make it a little bit smaller. To parcel something up is to divide it in some way, usually for later use, right? So I'm going to parcel these up and share them with friends. Maybe you get a lot of something, and so you parcel them up or you divide them up in some way. It's often used to talk about food, but not always. Often used to talk about food. And in this case, he's going to do this with the brownies. But then he says, did you hear what he said? I'm going to eat them at my leisure. So eat them at your leisure or do something at your leisure means when you have time, when you feel like it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you enjoy it, right? Give me a call back at your leisure. It's more like saying whenever you want to, whenever you have time. Do it at your leisure. It's sort of like saying when you're free, when you're available, or when you want to. So imagine he's got some brownies there. He might break off some pieces. And when he feels a little hungry or he wants a little pick-me-up, he might grab a piece of the brownie and have a little snack. At his leisure. Let's rewatch that part again.
So I can parcel them up. I'm taking 2 so I can parcel them up and eat them at my leisure later on. Much healthier.
Eat them at my leisure later on. It sounds a little formal when he says it. A little weird, but anyway, that's what he says.
You're taking 2?
Yeah,
Taking 2?
but one of them is for Toby.
Yeah. Why don't you send that to him in Costa Rica?
I'm just gonna hand it to him right now.
Okay, weirdo.
Why is that weird?
She said she's gonna give it to him right now.
Just for context, if you haven't seen this show, he hates Toby with a burning passion. He hates Toby. And Toby left, and now Toby's back.
She's probably going to because they sit next to each other.
Yeah, they used to.
They probably sit next to each other. Yeah, they used to because Toby left. So Michael Scott does not know that Toby has returned.
Toby works here again.
Oh, can you imagine?
Okay, so can you imagine? This is a great expression. He's reacting to what Jim is saying. He still doesn't believe that Toby is back. Toby has returned. He hates Toby more than anything in the world. For some reason, he thinks he's boring. He does not like Toby. Toby's from, I think, HR. And so Jim is telling him that Toby's back, and Michael Scott still does not believe him. So he says, can you imagine? It's either a statement of disbelief or to add a little bit of extra oomph or emphasis to something that is kind of ridiculous or difficult to believe, right? Can you imagine? It's more of a reaction phrase that we will use when we hear something that we don't think is true, and it may or may not be true, but we don't think it's true. Yeah, can you imagine? So here it's kind of a statement of disbelief. He doesn't believe what Jim is saying, but if it were true, it wouldn't be good, right? He's basically saying, oh, that would be terrible if that were true.
Oh no. Toby works here again. Toby works here again.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh no. You don't know.
He doesn't know yet that Toby's back.
I don't know.
All right. Let's keep going.
What?
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look. See if he's...
Probably just meander back there. Meander back there? What does he say?
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look. See if he's...
Meander back there. So if you hear meander, this usually is used to talk about not directly, not quickly going back. It's sort of a slow and casual going somewhere, right? It's often indirect, right? There's no urgency around going there immediately, and it doesn't have to be straight there. You might stop off and have a little piece of brownie and then go there. It's not saying you should do that. It's just a very relaxed sounding word that means there's no rush and you're not going to a specific place exactly, right? And you don't have to take a specific path. So just meander back there. I really like that word. I think that's a nice word. What is back there? That's where Toby used to sit, and actually where he still is, where he still sits. But Michael Scott still doesn't believe it. Let's listen to that again.
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look. See if
Just meander back there. Take a look.
see if he's back.
Dare I?
See if he's back. Then he says, dare I? Dare I? Kind of in a joking way.
Back there. Take a look. See if he's back.
Dare I? You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
Okay. Let's watch that one more time here. We got one more we want to talk about.
You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
For old time's sake. So what is he saying there? For old time's sake. If you do something for old time's sake, that means you used to do it before, or you regularly did it before, and you're going to do it again or remember it again because you like to do that, or or it's nostalgic for you. That's how it's usually used, right? So maybe you used to go to a cafe all the time when you were in college. You find yourself in the town where you went to college 10 years later, right? And you say, you know what? I'm going to stop by that cafe just for old time's sake. You have no other reason to go other than because you used to spend a lot of time there. You haven't been there in 10 years, and it would be nice to, for the sake of nostalgia, check it out, see if it's changed, get a cup of coffee, right? Sit in the seat where you used to always study for old time's sake. So what's the reason for old time's sake is for nostalgia, is to reflect on the past, is to do it because it was a thing before. Now, in this case, he's feeling still happy because he thinks that Toby is not back. So when he goes back, he's doing it for old time's sake, actually because he knows he's not there. In fact, he is there. He knows he's not there, but he used to go back there and be angry because Toby was there, okay? So it's kind of complicated in this case, but let's review that part one more time.
You know what? I'm going to, for old time's sake.
Again, he's still being very jokey, disbelieving, right? He says, "Can you imagine?" because he doesn't believe it. He's saying, here, let's just watch this whole section together. It's more to get the big picture here.
Dare I?
Again,
Take a
very
look.
jokey. The dare I.
See if he's back.
Dare I? You know what? I'm going to, for old time's sake.
Okay. Now he goes back.
Great practical joke, Jim. Got me.
Okay, what does he say? That's Toby, by the way, behind him. Great practical joke, Jim. A practical joke is like a prank. He goes back there for old time's sake. He does not see Toby. And so now he's thinking, okay, Jim was joking with me. Jim was trolling me. Jim made a practical joke, or it's a little prank on me. Okay, so, but that makes him happy because he doesn't want it to be true. He's in denial, right?
Go to the annex.
That's the perfect face. Oops.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
All right, anyway, so we talked about yeah, right as a reaction, disbelief. We talked about our big day or her big day or his big day, usually referring to a wedding. We talked about parceling something up, dividing it up, sharing it usually, or having it for yourself at different times, eating something at your leisure, doing anything at your leisure. We talked about can you imagine as a way to show disbelief or to express a feeling of this can't be true, right? We talked about meander back there, meander over there, meander into the kitchen, and then we said for old time's sake as a reason to do something often connected with nostalgia. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Again, The Office is a great choice for, I think, for learning English and practicing words and phrases. So maybe start watching The Office if you haven't done so already. It is a really good show. It is a classic. And again, if you come across words and phrases you're not sure about, pop those in the comments or join the Discord and ask and share interesting expressions you come across there. Also, if you haven't already done so, you can check out my full course, Natural English Conversations. That is in the links in the description. Okay. Classic. Douglas says, I'm going bananas because I can understand you 75% approximately. I'm from Guatemala and I've been learning English for 2 years. What is 75% being a good thing? You happy with that, Douglas? Is that a good number for you? What is your normal percentage of comprehension when you're listening to someone speak? I wonder. 20%, 30%, 75%, 50%? Just curious. Okay. All right. And again, if you have questions about pronunciation or anything as we go along, let me know. Now is the time if you have questions to ask about that stuff. And again, those watching or listening later, you can join on Fridays if you want to have your questions answered. Although I don't always answer every question. It kind of depends on the question, right? We're going to do some more hands-on pronunciation practice that's actually tied to the course itself. And we'll get to that next. Okay. One thing that I've talked about before in regards to pronunciation is the Google's pronunciation widget. The crazy thing about Google's pronunciation widget is that it doesn't always come up. You have to search Google pronunciation and then the word, but sometimes it comes up and sometimes it doesn't. The nice thing about the widget is, let's see, I'm going to search Google pronunciation nostalgia. Okay? And let me show you what you get. So in this case, as you can see, I got some videos, but I did not get any widget. So you don't know, that's the thing. I wish they would just make the widget, maybe it is, but I haven't found it. Make the widget a standalone thing where you can search any word, because I find their widget to be one of the best ones, right? Google pronunciation, let's try to search meander. All right, let's search that one. Okay, now we get a video here at the top. Again, no widget. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. It's very hit and miss. Let's say obscurity. Let's try that. Let's see. No widget. What? What's going on with the no widget? It's so strange. Oh, wait. Oh, because it changed to translate. Well, that makes sense. Oh, somehow obscurity changed to translate. Okay, let's try this. Google pronunciation. Obscurity. Oops. See? URITY. Okay, there we go. No, still no. Maybe it depends on the Google account. Let's see. Pronunciation. How do we get it to come up every time? Of obscurity. Now we get it. Okay, so maybe we don't say Google pronunciation, right? I mean, I don't know. So, but the widget itself is so good. Look, they break it into syllables for you. And they do a very natural, I find a very natural spelling. Scurity. Obscurity. So I really like how they break it down. But then the cool thing is, you can see here in this second syllable, you've got this cool bold that tells you where the stress on the word is. So the stress on the word is clearly the second syllable. Syllable 1, syllable 2, syllable 3, syllable 4. Obscurity. Now we can listen to it with British pronunciation or American pronunciation. So listen to it with American pronunciation. Here we go.
Obscurity.
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 Obscurity. Now let's see if we can do British pronunciation. Now notice for the British pronunciation, they take away the practice button, which tells me something.
Obscurity.
Obscurity. Okay, I'm going to go to the American pronunciation here.
Obscurity.
Obscurity. Obscurity.
Obscurity.
Obscurity. I like it. Okay, now we go to practice. This is very good. Obscurity. Hey, I got it. I did it. Let's see if I totally mess it up. Obscurity. Very good. See, this is what I'm saying. It's really accurate. Try to say instead of because I said obscurity instead of obscurity. This is great. Let's try another one. Obscurity. Okay, it's giving me several things here. You may have pronounced cure, okay, and try to say T instead of tay. Wow, great. I'm so impressed with this tool, and I wish it were more available and you didn't have to just Google it every time. I know they probably are incentivized to make it all through Google searches, but it needs to be predictable because sometimes words don't show up. Like if I search pronunciation of Bob, right? They get the video and there's no module. Well, what if I want the pronunciation of that word, right? Well, a pronunciation of, let's see, a really common word, house, probably will not come up. Yep, there you go. So you get a video. So if it's very common words and you want to know how to say it, it's not coming up. But if then you search something like, I don't know, divination, it probably will. There you go. So divination, it does come up. So... And for some reason, it's defaulting to British English, but it's such a good tool. Reach out to Google or something and tell them to make it a standalone module that people can use apart from searching in Google. That would be fantastic, I think. Come on, Google. You can do it. You don't have to make everything about search volume. Just give people tools, for crying out loud. Anyway, hi, do you have videos on sentence stress in English? Yes, I have an entire course on sentence stress. Check out my courses. I have a course called Advanced American English Pronunciation, which covers sentence stress extensively. Okay? It covers sentence stress extensively. Again, this course is on sale for the lowest price that you can buy it at. So check that out, okay? The course is, the course that I just launched is on sale. The other one is on sale-ish, but not as on sale, we could say, right? So yes, here's the course I just launched. The actual sale price, if you go through my link, is lower than this. But also you can see that Udemy is doing a limited time sale that ends in 13 hours. And let's see if we go to Udemy and English pronunciation, pronunciation courses on Udemy. Oh, what do you know? My courses are right at the top. This course, Advanced American English Pronunciation, here, 4.7 reviews, 4.7 out of 5. And let's see, where's the one about intonation mastery? I think it might be in this section. Making your own speaking lists. It might be in this one. It might be in this section. I think so. But also I have a couple other pronunciation. I have actually now 4 pronunciation courses, which is a lot. Is the course available for Russia? I don't know. A lot of things are, for some reason, not some reason, for a reason everyone knows, a lot of things are not available in Russia that are available elsewhere because of reasons. But I know that there is one student in Russia who has found a way to purchase them. So, and speak of the devil, but not devil, but that's an expression. Yeah, possible. Okay, let's get into some other things here, shall we? Friends, neighbors, citizens, humanitarians, doctors, ice cream, people made of ice cream, the gluten intolerant, the lactose tolerant, large puffy banana people. ducks. All right. It's Friday. It's Friday. Can I take a coffee break? I don't need to ask permission. I can. I will. I must. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm posting new videos on news, to the YouTube channel, rather. New news videos every single week. That's the plan anyway. Learn 6 words from the news every week. 3 news stories usually, and 6 words. We might end up doing 2 news stories and 6 words instead. 3 from each. Might be a better idea. I'm still experimenting with the format. Feedback welcome. Again, where should you put that feedback? The Discord. It's where I am. It's where I am. And if you message me privately on the Discord if you need help or something or whatever, that's fine too. Okay. Let's talk about vowels. This is kind of a teaser for the course because this is actually in the course. This is the part that's available in the course in the preview, so we can talk about it. Gillen Sen, out of curiosity, can you write your name in another language alphabet, like Arabic or Japanese? Yes, I mean, there are versions of names written in other alphabets or characters. For example, if your name is Kevin, I have a friend named Kevin, and he lived in China for a long time. I met him in China, and he has a Chinese version of his name written in Chinese characters, right? And it doesn't sound exactly like Kevin. It's like Kaiwen. And the 2 characters are the Chinese version of the name Kevin. And that's the case for a lot of languages. It's I believe similar in Japanese, and you know it varies by language. Of course, I don't have complete knowledge of all languages, but the idea is yes, but that doesn't mean that you have to use that name when you. Well, why would you start using a name in another language when you have to interact with people in another language? So if you move to, I don't know, you move to Italy or something like that, right? You probably will just keep your name, your English name, as it is. But if that name is so hard for local people to say, then you might consider having a Chinese, let's say if it's China, version of that name. It depends on the language, right? And it depends on how different that language is from from your native language. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all answer. And you may decide to ask people to try to pronounce your name as it is instead, rather than trying to change it. Or you might decide to change it, or you might decide to choose a completely different name, which people do as well. So, you know, my Chinese friends, a lot of them call me Kanga, which is it's not my name at all. It's not the Chinese version of Luke at all. Kanga is kan is see, like see or look, and so it sounds like Luke, right? There's no comparison to the meaning is totally different, right? It's like look, as in looking at something, but it sounds like that. And so, I mean, that's just a nickname. I don't know when that started or how, but that's kind of just what it is. So I don't even have an official name, even though I've lived there for quite a long time. So anyway, to answer your question, I can't answer your question because I don't know, because it's different for every language. I think in general, if I were to go to different countries, I would just try to convince people to try to say my name in English. Oh, okay, so you have an example of how that's written in Arabic. Oh, so you're specifically talking about the writing of the name. I see. Got it. That looks pretty cool, actually. I like that. Arabic. That's very interesting. I like how it looks. I think Arabic looks really cool. I think Thai, if you've seen Thai writing, looks really, really cool. And Mongolian. If you haven't seen Mongolian writing, it looks so cool. Looks very cool. All right. Let's talk about vowel sounds, shall we? We shall. We shall. Vowel sounds are simple, but if you don't know how to say them perfectly, you will struggle. Why is that? Because they are part of pretty much every single word, right? And so, yes, they're simple, but you can cause a great deal of confusion if you have not mastered how to say them. We're going to spend a little time focusing on short vowel sounds. Now, this is a specific example from my course, Master English Pronunciation. If you want to check out that full course, which is over 9 hours long, you can do that. And this is just the first of many, 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 many examples covered in the course. Vowels are part of the course in a section called The Essentials of English Pronunciation. So we're gonna, this is like a little preview, a little teaser for you, okay? We're specifically going to be focusing on short vowel sounds. So a little note on the difference. What is a short vowel sound compared to a long vowel sound? Generally, the short vowel sounds are a specific set of sounds, A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, that are not pronounced in the way that you say the name of the letter. And then the long vowel sounds are pronounced in the way that you say the name of the letter, with an exception on U especially, right? So, short vowel sound of A is not A. It's A, but also Ah. And actually, there are some gradients there. It's not exactly the same all the time. It's not as simple as learning one thing, right? So that's A, and then there's E, which is pronounced E, and then I, which is pronounced I, and then O, which is pronounced Ah, usually, and then U is just pronounced often And then if it's the long sound, then it's A, E, I, O, and U, which may be pronounced U or may also be pronounced oo. But again, it's not that simple because sometimes you have combinations of sounds that make short vowel sounds or long vowel sounds. So for example, E-N-O-U-G-H, enough. That nuff is not pronounced in the same way that H-O-U-S-E is pronounced. That's O-U-O-U. But H-O-U-S-E is pronounced house, and E-N-O-U-G-H is pronounced oof, enough. So what we should do is not say, oh, this letter makes this sound, or these two letters together make this sound. That is the wrong way to think. Instead, what you should think is, I must master these sounds using my ear, my self-awareness, and then my ability to practice so that I can make habits. If I can master these sounds by mastering them with my mouth, the shape of my mouth, so that it sounds right when I speak, then it doesn't matter how it's spelled because I can always make the sound when I need to. So this is a reverse of how people usually think about learning pronunciation. Pronunciation is you learn how to say X sound. No. Pronunciation is you learn how to, what I meant to say there is, what most people think is pronunciation is that you learn how to say X letter or word. Okay, now once I know how to say that letter or word, then I've got it. In fact, it is a mastery of the mouth shapes required to make specific sounds, no matter how those sounds are produced in letters. That's what I meant to say, all right? So, we're going to spend a little bit of time on this. We're going to talk a bit about how we can do this. And we're going to look at this example. The sounds in, or the pink ones are the ones that we're actually going to be looking at here, okay? So we have an I there, and an I there, and an O there, and an I there, and a U there, and a U there, but an OU there. Okay, so how do we say these? How can we practice them? The best way is to go through it and talk about it. And you'll notice that some are not underlined. There's no pink color here for this, and there's no pink color here for this. So what's going on? Again, the only thing we can do is go through it. This is not a comprehensive lesson on vowels. If you want to really get into the weeds on this, then my full course is the way to go. This is a little bit of a sort of a taste of how to start learning vowel sounds, okay? So I want you to follow me. I want you to try to pronounce things along with me as I speak, okay? We're going to do them one by one or a few at a time. And I want you to try to focus on mouth sounds, developing self-awareness, right? Really being honest with yourself. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. It will. It will. You could also say it will. Now notice when I say it, my lower jaw is pushed ever so slightly forward. And when I say will, same. It's not very open, no, not very wide, right? Fairly narrow, it. And my mouth is not so wide, this is a common issue, that I'm saying eat, because that's different. That's the long E sound. It will. It will not give. So we have the give here is the same, and then the not, nah, Well, doesn't that sound like the short A sound? Yeah, actually, father, and not are either very, very close or the same, depending on who you talk to, right? So the short O is the same as one of the short A sounds, or at least very, very close. It will na. So that when I say na, my mouth is in the shape of an O. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes it's like this. A little wider, right? It will not give us. So we have another give, and you might have heard, okay, I thought if there's a vowel and then a consonant and then another vowel that I should, this one, right? If there's an E at the end or another vowel at the end, that I should make that a long sound. Not necessarily. Obviously not in this case. It will not give us much trouble. Now, us much trouble is the same sound, even though this is spelled O-U. Us much trouble. When you say the sound, your mouth is totally relaxed. Your face is totally relaxed. Your jaw is loose and hanging down, right? Like you just woke up from a coma. And your family and friends are around you and saying, what happened? And you say, That's the last thing you remember is you were playing tennis. And then all of a sudden, a rhinoceros bolted through one of the nearby doors and threw you up into the air with its horn. And then you went into a 9-year coma and woke up and said, And someone said, oh, that's the perfect U sound. Well done. All right, anyway. So it will not give us much trouble. It will not give us much trouble. Now, when we say to, ooh, we could say that's the double O, long O, ooh sound. But also when we say to in a sentence like this, we often make it what we could call, and should call, in fact, the schwa sound. S-C-H-W-A. Now, the schwa sound is something that's covered in depth in the course. But basically, it's a generic vowel sound that's very short, and every single vowel can make it. In this case, to would be t, like that. T. And then fo. So fold is going to be the long O sound. So we have our first long vowel sound. Fo, O, fold. Then we have short I, short U, and then we have a short A. ah, ah. Now, A, short A makes ah, it makes ah, it makes ah, right? It makes a few different sounds. It's kind of a fuzzier one because it makes a few different sounds. But in this case, ah, 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 showing my top teeth, ah, 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 ah. And my mouth is wider, ah, ah, ah. Okay? So, it will not give us much trouble to fold this stuff after dinner. Got it? It will not give us much trouble to fold this stuff after dinner. Short I sound there. And so again, we have the and put so now we have a different sound. This is not a short U sound, it's a sound. It's actually the short double O sound like book, right? And hook and put so you're kind of pushing your front lips forward there. Imagine when that rhinoceros barged through the doors, you were standing there playing your Sunday doubles tennis match. A rhinoceros bolts through the doors and sticks its horn right into your gut, and you say, ugh, and then you go into a coma. Well, that sound is the put sound. This is that sound that's in hook and book and look, okay? And put it on mom's bed. On, ma, ah. So there we have another nuance of the O sound. On is actually similar to the AU sound. Which is more narrow. On, and then ma, mom's bed. Father. Again, so close to that short A sound that I'm not sure if, depending on who you're talking to, if we can distinguish them. On mom's bed, short E sound. But short U sound with. You could say that's a schwa sound, maybe, or a short I sound, right? With all, and we usually blend those together. We're not going to spend time talking about that, but if you listen carefully, you'll notice I'm blending words together. All. This is not the ah sound. This all, on is the same as that O sound that we were looking at before, or very, very similar, okay? The other. So that's an O, other, but it's clearly a short U sound. Other. It's not other, it's not other, it's You woke up from the coma, other, but it's an O. That's why we can't focus on specific letters. That's why we have to focus on sounds. It will not give us much trouble to fold this stuff after dinner and put it on mom's bed. But with all the other hard work still left to do, 10 minutes isn't enough. Okay, we have a few sounds here. Hard work. R, So that is an A sound. But the next one, OR, is, notice, not in pink. AR is there because we have A and R together, so it's R. Often OR together is or. For example, FOR, for. Hard, right? Card, R. There's a clear R sound. Losing my mind making these noises. I'm trying to repeat myself so that you can get these sounds, right? But in the case of work, in this specific case, there is no OR sound. It's just the R sound. If it's FOR or FORK, then it's fork, right? Fork. Corn. Clearly there's an O sound. But if it's work, we're hitting that R directly. There's no O there. So that's just something to pay attention to. And then still, basic short I sound left. This is one we haven't talked about yet. The short E sound. We did talk about it did we talk about it with bed? Okay, we have to talk about the E. We've talked about I. We've talked about O, We've talked about U, right? We've talked about, I, O, U, A. We've talked about A, right? Or or What about E, bed, left. Okay, this is a tough one for a lot of people. Eh, 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 eh. I'm releasing something in the back of my tongue there. It's going eh, eh. It's going back slightly. Notice you can see my top and bottom teeth. Eh, eh. I'm smiling a little bit, but it's not too wide, because if it's too wide, then it changes and becomes the long E sound, which is E, E, E. Eh, eh, eh. So what's the difference between and the short I sound? I, I, I. I. Look at the mouth shape. I, I, I. I. So when I say the short I sound, my mouth is not open quite as much, right? It's a little narrower. And as I said, I push my lower jaw ever so slightly forward when I say that one, right? So that's key. That's critical. I. Left. Bed. Ten. Okay? Hard work still left to do. Ooh. Long O sound, right? To do. The t is again probably schwa sound. To do. 10 minutes. Now the mi is a short I sound, but nuts is probably the schwa sound. And then is short I sound, na, short O sound, not enough. Again, the E. Okay, so the E there is a long E. The long E is E, very wide, smiling. E, we're focusing on the short sounds mostly with this example, but this is the long E sound. E, and then nuff. That is another OU, like trouble. That is the short rhino coma sound, right? Enough. Okay, so we have that whole piece there. It will not give us much trouble to fold this stuff after dinner and put it on mom's bed, but with all the other hard work still left to do, 10 minutes is not enough. So now that we have those sounds down, we should be able to start piecing them together into, well, whole words, then sections or sentences that then flow from one to the next. Again, we're not talking about making sentences flow from one word to the next now. That's something that's covered in depth in the course. We're not focusing too much on the long vowel sounds, right? Focusing mostly on the short sounds. And we're not focusing too much on the schwa sounds. All of those are covered in depth in the course, okay? So let's keep going. Now that we have it, we should be able to go through this second half faster. Let's get the clothes finished and. Let's get the. Now the is, we could say the schwa sound. The. We're not putting much stress on it, just a relaxed vowel sound. Let's get the clothes. So this one is the long O sound. O. O is the name of the letter. O. Let's get the clothes. And you can say this clothes if you want to, but a lot of people just say it the same as CLOSE, which is clothes. Okay, the clothes. Let's get the clothes finished. Now you could say that with double short I, or it could be fi and then nisht, which is the schwa sound for the second. I think people say it both ways. Finished, and we know and after that, and after that, and after that, same A sound for those. Get the rest. We have a short E sound, then the schwa E sound with the, and then rest. Let's get the rest done. Now this DONE, done, is not the long O sound. Again, you may have heard, okay, if you have an O followed by a consonant followed by E or another vowel, then it's going to be the long sound. In this case, not, because it's not. It is pronounced done, which is the short U sound. Same as DUN, which is not a word, but that is how you would say that, okay? Get the rest done. Lugging. The ging is a little weird. It's not a short I sound. ING is pronounced ing. It's actually the long E sound with the ing happening at the back of your throat. We're not going to spend too much time on that, but ing. Lugging. And then Allen's. Alan, Alan, that's the A sound, and then the Ln is the schwa sound. The second A is a schwa, and the first A is the regular A sound. Heavy, H-E-A, is that pronounced as he? No, it's he, short E sound. Old, O-L-D, old, long O sound. Athletics, short A sound, short E sound. Letics, but then equipment is the long E sound. Quip is the W sound. Whip, and then the short I sound, like W-I-P. Whip. Equipment. And you could say the M-E-N-T, ment, is the schwa sound, okay? Lugging Alan's heavy old athletics equipment boxes, boxes. So that is the short O sound, x's, says. It's probably a schwa sound. Boxes, says. Yeah, I think that's probably a schwa sound there. Now we're sort of getting the feel for this. Steps, short E sound. Okay, we know that. To the double schwa sound. Attic, short A sound. Tick, probably a schwa sound. Is short I sound. Probably. Short O sound. Ubly, could be a schwa sound, probably a schwa sound. Gonna, short U sound, maybe A sound, maybe schwa sound. So, lugging Alan's heavy old athletics equipment boxes up the steps to the attic is probably gonna be, long E sound, we know how to say the now, toughest, O-U, but short sound, toughest, first probably schwa sound, right? If you hear it very, very short, very small sound, there's probably that's schwa sound. Job, okay, short O sound, the toughest job. Expect, so that E is not expect or expect, but it's probably a schwa sound. And then the second E sound is the short E sound. The to do, the first to is the schwa sound, and then do, long O sound. To do. And then to schwa sound, tomorrow. It's not tomorrow, it's tomorrow. And then morrow is actually very close to the father, morrow. That mix between the short O and A sound. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're just very close. I still haven't decided yet. And then O. OW is pronounced the same as the long O sound. To be, schwa sound for the T, and then B, long E sound, and then longer, longer. Not longer, but longer, short O sound. So, the whole thing, it will not give us much trouble to fold this stuff after dinner and put it on mom's bed. But with all the other hard work still left to do, 10 minutes is not enough. Let's get the clothes finished, and after that, get the rest done. Lugging Alan's heavy old athletics equipment boxes up the steps to the attic is probably going to be the toughest job. Expect the to-do tomorrow to be longer. Now, I'm not expecting you to be able to say that perfectly immediately. What I do want you to do is really focus on these short, especially short vowel sounds, but also a few interesting other things in there too. The schwa sound, the fact that different combinations of letters and letters can make the same sounds, and the fact that it's not as simple as saying this letter equals this sound. That is very, very important to keep in mind. We also looked at a couple of long sounds, but we were more focused on the short ones. If you have any questions about this, let me know. If you found this interesting and you feel like you'd like to get more practice and you want to be able to really master this, this was a very quick overview of this. If you want to get in the weeds and master pronunciation in depth, right, with me, check out my 9-hour course on this topic. In the course, I will say every word. You will say the word after me. You'll repeat after me to practice shadowing the word so that you can master all these sounds. Then after we go through all the sounds, we go to a full example. This is one of the examples from the course, but there are many, many, many in the course. check that out if you are interested in really, really mastering your pronunciation and building really strong pronunciation habits. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so that you can see future videos that I put out. And if you want to join the Discord, you can do that as well. It's free. Announcements there from me, as well as chatting and having a nice little community. And also, besides grabbing that course, you can grab a free course also in the links in the description. All right. Oh my goodness, that was intense for me. I'd ask you to repeat stuff at your normal pace after you said it slowly. So that last reading was me at my normal pace. When I read it at the last time, that was normal pace. Okay, now my brain is nearly fried. I suppose that's good. That's good. Fried brain is a good brain. That's what they say. Fried brain a day keeps the doctor away. Okay. Where were we? I think I had one more topic I wanted to cover. What the heck was it? What the heck was it? Oh, right. There is one thing I wanted to talk about. This is totally unrelated to pronunciation, but I have to say it. I very often get random messages from people, I don't necessarily know who they are, reaching out to me for different reasons. Sometimes people are interested in seeing if I will teach them individually. No, but sometimes they have questions about English generally. Usually I'm happy to answer those. Sometimes they have a question about one of my courses, or maybe they purchased courses and they want to know the order to take them in, different reasons. A lot of people message me, and they might message me on sometimes a private message in Discord, sometimes WhatsApp, sometimes an email. But I have a thing that I want to talk about, and I think it will help you. If you're this person, how to reach out to someone so that you can get a reply. And I'll just tell you how I think about this. And this might help you avoid, the awkwardness. This is stuff, how can you know unless you know? I'm just going to communicate a few things that you may find useful for reaching out to increase the chance that the person you're reaching out to will respond. If you begin a message to me and we've never spoken before, right? You find me on, for example, WhatsApp, and you just say, hi, I will not respond. Guaranteed. I will not respond. If you have something like that, where there's a request that you have or a question, it's very important to put that in the message, the first message, because you have to know that someone may be receiving a bunch of messages per day and they're prioritizing the ones that make sense to them. They probably don't have time for chatting. I don't have too much time for idle chatting on 30 different platforms, right? I'm a busy guy. So I use hi as a disqualifier. If anyone says hi right away and nothing else after, boop, gone. If someone sends a message that says hi and then outlines an issue, I just purchased a couple of your courses and I'm wondering what order I should take them in. Boom, I'm on it. I'm going to answer you. I'm going to get back to you right away because you've given me something to work with. You've given me an issue that you have. You need help with something, right? I can do something with that. So that's the first thing. When you're reaching out, say hi or hello, and then add the thing that you need or the thing you're wondering or whatever it is, right? Second, don't use dear. Don't use dear, especially if dear is by itself. One thing I often see from people is hello, dear. Hello, dear. And I don't know how. I think this may have gotten into some sort of, I don't know, language lesson somewhere. I don't know what happened here. But dear is not appropriate for this sort of situation. I admit it is a pet peeve for me when someone says, hello, dear. Dear is something that you would use at the beginning of a very formal email, but only if you follow dear with the name. So if you're writing a complete email to someone, you might say, Dear Mrs. Jones, right? And then you have some request, you explain it. It's very well written. It's a complete email. And I do say email specifically. It is an email, okay? Then you can use dear. Again, it's formal. You might instead do hello, Mrs. Jones, or hi, Mrs. Jones, or just Mrs. Jones. That's great. Then you explain the issue. If it is a messaging app like Discord, like WhatsApp, like iMessage, never use dear. Never, ever, ever. Especially if you're calling the other person dear. I can say, I don't know why it's there. I see it so often, I'm compelled to mention it. It's very strange because you're not saying dear someone, you're saying hello dear, as though you are my dear. This, though, dear, is used for intimacy. Sometimes couples will say, hello, dear, when their husband or wife walks down the stairs. I think that's kind of fading out of the language, right? Sometimes you see in old romantic movies, my dear, right? That sort of thing. Again, very old-fashioned, very strange, and it makes me wonder where it comes from. But certainly, if you're reaching out to people using dear, I don't think you're going to get great responses because the first impression of, I think, a native speaker will be, what? Why are they calling me dear? Do I have a wife I don't know about? What's going on? Right? But I get dear from both men and women. And so I don't think that's what's going on. I think that somewhere, somewhen, some book got written that's 90 years old that floated into some language schools somewhere or some middle school classrooms that started telling people that they should call other people dear for some reason. I don't know why, and I'm here to say, finally and forever, don't do it anymore. Never do it anymore. For your own good, it's not for my sake. Yes, it does make me feel uncomfortable and awkward, but I can live with that. I'm trying to help you if you're a dear user, right? So use dear for a very formal email if you say the name after dear. Otherwise, don't use it, period. That's easy, right? So instead, what can you say? Well, if you're writing an email, again, you could say, to me, if it's a formal email, Dear Luke, but you could also, at the beginning of a message, say hello. You could use hello for an email. You could say Luke at the beginning with nothing else. You might say hi there. You might say hi, Luke. You might say hey, Luke. You might say yo, Luke. That's not very formal, but I'm fine with that, right? That's cool. That's okay. If it's a message, WhatsApp or Signal or Discord, right? Again, there you want to probably say hi, hey there, hello, hey Luke. Then say in less than 1 or 2 sentences what you need help with, right? If you want to be more formal, you might say, good afternoon, something like that. But that's just my advice for, in general, how to reach out to people on different sort of communication platforms so that you can increase your chances of getting a response and avoid awkwardness, all right? This is a tough thing because it's norms and how people feel and it's subjective, but I can say unequivocally with a high degree of confidence that you should never say hi, dear, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also, check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Jawad says, I am a life skill B1 student. Would you please suggest for this? I'm not sure what you're asking me, Jawad. I don't know what a life skill B1 student means. I don't know what that means. So sorry. Tupac or Biggie Smalls? Do I have to choose? I can't choose. I can't choose. Can I say both? Is that okay? All right, everyone. I think we're going to call it a day today. So it's been great to have you all here. I appreciate it. I hope you've learned a lot. Those watching or listening later, thank you for doing so. I would appreciate if you would like to show support. If you're watching, subscribe or follow wherever you are. Leave a comment. Hit the like or the thumbs up. Share away. Join the Discord. If you're listening, show your support there. Much appreciated. Thank you for listening. I care about the listeners. I hope you're enjoying your walk or whatever you're doing, whatever you happen to be doing. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Safe, fun, relaxing, easy, I hope. I hope you have some interesting stuff planned. I think I do. I might go bowling this weekend. I haven't been bowling in 15 years. Suddenly, this week, I had this intense desire to go bowling. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I just thought, damn, I need to go bowling. So we have some friends coming over for Hot Pot this weekend, which I'm excited about. And I am going to force them to go bowling with me. I'm not going to give them an option. I'm going to say, all right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed your meal. Now we are going to go bowling. And if they say, but I don't want to go bowling, I'll say, listen, I'll make it a guilt situation. Do you know how much I paid for this meal? Do you know how expensive all this stuff was? And I prepared it. Well, I didn't. Mushroom made it. We're going bowling. I'll let you know how it goes. Anyway, have a safe and relaxing weekend. And if you haven't checked out the news video, do that. The course sale ends in 2 days. So you've got 2 days to get the best possible price for that course. That is 9.5 hours of content for improving your pronunciation. So grab that ASAP. And I will see you next week, I hope. Bye-bye.